long you been in business?
28 years.
28 years. Feeding people. I know what you do now. I know, feeding folks, helping people, out and about in the community. Tell them about your business.
Well, I started Memorial Funeral Home 28 years ago, and before I opened the funeral home, I was always trying to help people in our community. There were those that were hungry, there were those that was oppressed, that we tried hard to work with the people in our community. The Bible says that the poor will be with you always.
Yes.
So we need to learn to realize that we need to reach out a helping hand and help someone. So it's the same things that you do. Reach out in our community. You know, it's bad in our community that we have nobody to turn to when we need assistance.
It is.
There are other organizations.
That's right.
That are not of my persuasion.
Right.
That help our people.
Okay.
We thank God for them.
Yes.
We have churches that are not of my persuasion that help people.
Okay.
But we don't have anywhere in our community that our people can go when they need their light bill paid, their water bill paid, when they don't have any food, they don't have anything. And it's time for us to look out for our own people.
I keep putting it out there.
It's time for our churches
That's right.
to not be so caught up in fine clothes and fine hats and all this. And when the people need their water bill paid, we got to go beg other people from other persuasions to help us.
Right.
When even families that bury their loved ones when they're in need, we have to go to people of other persuasions to help our own people. It's time that we as a black people get together. We're getting ready to celebrate Black History Month. It's time that we as a black people get together and start to helping our own people, to teach our own young people the values in the community, to teach them that we help one another. For together we stand, and divided we fall. And many times people talk about black togetherness, but until we really come together to help one another.
Okay.
I remember when I was a boy, and my daddy brother got killed in Wilcox County, Alabama.
Okay.
And we couldn't travel the roads of Wilcox County at night, so it got dark. And my daddy pulled off the road and went down to someone's house down in the woods that he didn't even know. And the gentleman came out and said to my daddy, "Y'all come on in. Come on in, you know, we can't be out on the road at night." And his wife got up out of the bed and cooked some food for us. And my father said, "No, you don't have to do that." I said, "Yeah, we got to help one another. We got to go back to that same principle."
You know, I've been telling them that. I've been telling them that. And we've been showing that, though, Bishop Wood, because you have people just lined up that need, you know, may need some help or may need just a kind word. I can just come in here and somebody's in here and they're looking with those eyes, Bishop Wood. They're looking that they need help. They really need help. And Jazzy denied herself a lot. I know you had told me that I need to start a foundation, and we're gonna kick up one. We're gonna kick up one because Carrie Coates has a storage where we can store things. Miss Carrie Coates, thank you for letting me know that. Her and Miss Theola Bright, they've got where we can put stuff in storage, but we do need funds available and have a board where all the money go to a bank account and we can pay these folks bills. Man, these people is hurting. Now this bad. This young man didn't have no heat on, and we did get those heaters up, but that's bad. He had pneumonia and flu, and when he come out, he went back in that house and got sick again. Now that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen in Mobile.
That should. You know, Theola Bright's mother, years ago when I was a young man, used to help me with an operation, a group called Operation Help the Poor. And she used to work with me and getting food for people and getting clothes for people that needed help and needed assistance. So I think that same thing has rubbed off on Theola Bright.
That's where it come from. There.
Yeah, her mother,
I didn't know. Her mom
used to Viola Mule. Was her name, and she used to help. She was a member of Phillips Temple Church.
Yes.
And when she passed away, one of the greatest stories I ever heard was from Bishop Ayers that said that when she was over the pastor's aid board, when Bishop Ayers had to go to meetings, when he had to go somewhere, she always would give him some money to help him along the way.
To help him along the
way. That's where Theola gets.
That's where she got it from.
Helping one another. My son used to have a radio broadcast, and he needed help with it financially. And Theola's mother, Viola Mew, said to him, "Son, you need some money? I will help you."
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
right.
Now, son, you the
ma'am.
chip off the old block here.
That's right.
So, you've been helping folks.
Oh, yes.
You know, somebody, I was trying to get something for somebody, and they say, call Bishop Wood. I said, I go to Bishop Wood so much. He said, I'm talking about the son. I go to the son. I said, oh, okay, you talking about the son, and it's Pastor Woods, or what is it? Apostle Wood. She was telling me, go there. I said, well, she said he helped so many people.
That's right.
And I wanted to commend you on what I've been hearing about what you do.
Thank you.
What laid on your heart to help people?
Well, just watching my father down through the years, reaching out, lending a helping hand to so many people, and you know, it's just a chip off the old block.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you see what you're doing, ladies and gentlemen. If you're helping and feeding, because y'all know with the snow, this will come on next week, but it's supposed to snow tomorrow. They've shut down our shipyard for that. So y'all got it's bad. We ought to have provisions where we can ride around in a big truck and make sure that everybody got blankets and stuff. And we finna get together to do this. I know we couldn't help last week, but we gonna do it for this week. We gonna get it together. We gonna start. I'm gonna start a board. I got to do something because I seen it on the Facebook. I just got on 2 weeks ago. But people were bringing me stuff. You know, I put on there that they need something, and that's how I was getting it for them. So I got to do a little better. Like I say, if you don't go to your full potential with whatever you're doing, business, relationships, or whatever, it's not going to work. So we got to go to our full potential. Son, where is your church? Because you got a church.
Yes, ma'am. We're located at 804 West Turner Road, and the name of the church is the Gospel Lighthouse. And we're there in the heart of Pritchard. 804 West Turner Road, Gospel Lighthouse Prophetic Deliverance Ministries, and we are there servicing our community. So if you would like a good spirit-filled church and a place that you can go and where they're reaching out to the public and the people of God, just come on by. We're there every Sunday. Sunday school is at 10 o'clock a.m. And our midday worship service is at 12 o'clock noon each and every Sunday.
Do you have a
Give
phone number?
Give us a call at 251-330-0355.
Okay, and Bishop Woods, you got a church.
Yes.
Now I'm telling you about the chip off the old block. Junior work up here with Papa. You needed to come on with it. That was a good thing. Yeah, you need to work with Dad. Now, where's your church
My
located?
church is at 1223 Mobile Street in Mobile, Alabama. We're next door. We're the same spot where the Jolly spot used to be. God had my mother. My mother was a pastor of the church that I pastors now. She was the founder of the church, and she, God blessed her to get there and build a new church there where the Jolly spot used to be, where they used to do dancing and partying and all that. God blessed her and sent her there years ago when it was there. And God promised her that He was going to give her everywhere she put her feet.
Yeah.
And my mother walked out there in the rain and walked out there, and people looking at her. And 30, 40 years later, someone called my mother and said, Miss Woods, I remember what you said God said. 30 years later. And said God said they're going to give you everywhere you put your feet.
Oh, man.
And we own everything that's over there now.
Yeah.
We own the 48 acres between the 2 railroad tracks now. But having a godly mother, a mother that stand up for God, that's one of the good things. A godly mother that did not compromise with her children.
That's right.
A godly mother that tell your children whether they like it or not, when they're right and when they're wrong.
That's right.
So
we got to bite them. We got to bite them. My children say I'm harder on them than I am other people. But I just feel, boy, you're supposed to know then. You know what I'm saying? I done went out there and did the robot and the electric slide and everything. And I'm telling them it's death and destruction. I mean, if you want to go for a while, I didn't have, you know, they went a little bit and they stopped. But you think that they supposed to know better, but I didn't know better. So they had to go on it themselves. Sometimes kids have to go on their own course. Then they come right on back home. Because what that Bible say, Bishop Wood, by show a child.
Train them up.
Bring them up in
the way that they should go.
That's
and when
right.
they get old, they want to depart from it. You know, I remember Ashley. Ashley used to come to church. You used to bring her to church
Yeah,
every
that's right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And you would have her dressed and fixed so pretty. I like to see Ashley now.
Yeah.
And you would have her dressed up and fixed so pretty. You all didn't know that Jazzy Red was a member of my church.
Sure is. One of them absent members.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Bobby Jones about you when we go back up there now. So we go in the end of February, unless you want to go with me.
Oh, let's go.
All right, okay, you go with me. We go in the end of February.
We just thank God for you.
And if you don't cut that phone off, Junior, we go in the end of February then. We're going to mark that on your calendar. The end of February, it'll be on a Sunday. We're going back to Bobby Jones. And I'm going to bring my camera. I'm going to get him to say something to my viewers. I promise you, viewers, because I met him that time, and he's a nice person, but I'm going to say, please, I'm taking my camera in my pocketbook, and I'm begging. You know, I'm going to beg him for an interview. So we're going to see if I can get it. I'll leave my stuff out there. I think he's going to do it. He's a great person, and you need to meet him, Bishop Woods. You deserve that. You've been doing a lot. Okay. All right. This will conclude our interview. Your phone number, Bishop Woods?
Is 457-6440 here at Memorial Funeral Home.
What about the church phone?
The church phone number is 457-2241. Just call us if you need prayer.
That's
if you need
right.
somebody to pray with you, then call that number, and someone will be glad to pray with you. And we're just so grateful. And you know, if more people in this world, and I'm not saying that because I'm in your presence, I've known you most of your life. If more people were like you at helping people. Jazzy Red used to be a model. Nobody knew that. Jazzy Red used to be a model.
Yeah, I'm sure
used to
did.
have her fixed up so beautiful, and I used to be the commentator for the model.
Yes, he was.
And boy, that Jazzy could strut like a peacock.
Yeah, baby. I would not. That thanks to Alice Banks.
Yes.
Thank you, Alice Banks. You gone on to be with Jesus, but you gave me a chance. You helped me. So they'll see me in the work clothes, Bishop Woods, but I got it. I got the heels. I don't have time.
And you know how to look good in them.
I don't have time to put it on, you know. But I like going looking in the work clothes because then I can see how people treat folks.
That's right.
When you come up in a mean coat or something, they kind of be nice. But go in your work clothes, you'll see that real attitude. All right, they got to go to work. Tell them God bless you.
God bless you.
All right, Jazzy Red Memorial Funeral Home and all the Bishop Woods and the chip off the old block, his son. Peace out. Jazzy Red Talk Show, and I'm holding this. This is icicles hanging off of my truck. This little young man talking about, I want some footage, Miss Jazzy. Well, the diamond in the back got all the ice on it. It's beat me in my face. You ain't getting no more footage. Get out of here, young man. Jazzy Red, peace out. It's 2:26. Tuesday. Y'all wanted snow. The snow coming, but here go your ice. Look what's going on in Mobile. Look at what's going on. Ice just hanging on vehicles. Just hanging. Just look at what's going on. Wouldn't nobody believe it, and they say it don't never get cold enough to wear mink coats in Mobile. All right, this will prove that it does. Jazzy Red, we love you. You asked for that footage, young man. You killing me. Peace out. Red Talk Show. And baby, it is freezing in Mobile, Alabama. This is the snowman that my granddaughter made. He's real little. I don't even know why I'm showing you that. Frederick Robinson. Okay, Frederick Robinson, you told me, I want to see the snow. Jazz, I want to see the snow. Okay, there go the snow, Fred. It is freezing out here. I got a ski mask. I look like I'm about to break in my own house. Look at my old school truck. That is what you call snow, ladies and gentlemen. Really, it's ice, but that's what you call snow. Hey, my old school got a two-tone now. We looking sharp. All right, Frederick Robinson, you told me that you wanted to see some footage of the snow. Well, there it is. And I mean, it is out here, ladies and gentlemen. We got snow. This is tonight, but we got snow. Now, Jazzy Red finna get out of this ice. It really is ice, but it's snow. But this here will make you fall, okay? And I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I just wanted to show you, and I doubt if you could see all this. You see it falling? It's on in Mobile. Jazzy Red. Here's pictures of the snow. We're gonna see the snow in the morning now. Jazzy Red, and we'll do a fade out on the snowman because it's freezing. Whew. Let me go turn my other bathroom pipes and water on. Jazzy Red, peace out. The Red gonna take a picture of her old school truck. It's a two-toner now. Jazzy Red, we love you. Peace out. Stay warm. Take care of yourself. And I'm pretty sure it's some more cold weather coming in February. Let's look out for everyone. God bless us, everyone. Look, my little sports car. It's you probably can't see that. Oh yeah, you can a little bit. It's rough. It's rough, man. I'm finna get up out of this. All right, Mr. Freddie Robinson. I told you I was gonna call your name. You cool, man. Stay cool. Stay warm. Stay whatever. I'm finna get out. Jazzy Red. Peace out for real. Jazzy Red Talk Show. And my old school truck got a sure enough two-tone this morning. You can see Jazzy Red Talk Show. And you can see I got a two-tone on my truck. Need a paint job. God gave me one. I got a two-tone. It's white and blue. Look at this snow. You're not going to believe it. We're getting footage of this. Granddaughter here. Stop walking on the ice, girl, before you fall. I'm not filming nothing. You won't sue me. Look at her little snowman. And when I say he looking big there, you can tell how little he is once I zoom off of him. She done made a snowman. 15 out here making a snowman. It is too cold for this. You have got to see this. Look. Look, Mobile. Got a good scenery of this street. If you hear any roaring or moving, it is not no cars, okay? It's freezing out here. I wanted you to see the rooftop. You know, we ain't used to this. We're not used to this. I just want you to see the rooftops on these houses. Isn't that pretty, though? Everybody got a white rooftop. Sleigh bell ring, are you listening in the land? Snow is glistening. This ain't snow, baby. This is ice. It is ice, and if you walk on it, you will fall. When I say it's really ice, you'll think it's snow. It's ice, okay? And it's ice. And look at here. I want you to get a good glimpse of these rooftops. Look at here. Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's nice, but we want it to go away. We know what happened. Oh my gracious. And they say the power went out last night. And if so, it is freezing out here. Hope everybody let their water run. When it's cold like this, your water have to really run. It's going to be a mess on this ground. It's going to be a total mess when this stuff thaw out. But it ain't thawing out no time soon. It's freezing out here. Well, Mobile. It's freezing. It's freezing out here. And Jasmine gonna get you some footage. And it's about the best you gonna get. Cause I mean, it's freezing and you can't walk. All this is ice. You cannot walk. A lady just passed by with her truck. I pray for her. I don't know where she going. With ice all down. If you didn't have any freeze on, it's a mess. Your income tax gonna be fixing it. And we were saying, tell everybody that on Facebook. You're gonna fix your car because your freeze plug gonna pop out. Vehicle that is two-tone this morning. You see that? You see that? Two-tone. Another vehicle that is two-tone. Oh, we styling. We got the two-tone trash can. For all my viewers that needed some footage. But baby Jazz ain't gonna be able to last long out here because I ain't even put my gloves on. Two-tone. People got a two-tone truck too. Alright, two-tone, baby. We two-toning out here in the neighborhood. We styling. They're gonna believe it. But the babies are able to see it in their lifetime. We've seen it snow maybe 3 times when we were young. Maybe 3 times we seen it snow. You don't see this a lot in Mobile. And everybody said, it don't get cold enough for no mink coats here. I wouldn't buy one. You need your mink coat, full length, baby. Your leather gloves with the mink trim. And everybody is coming out in the cold. Girl, it's freezing out here. I ain't even really dressed for it. But see, they say it don't get cold enough for mink coats. Hey, I still put mine on. Girl, look, I wear them anyway. But baby, it is freezing out here. My neighbors out here looking at the weather. Yeah, right. Well, at least today is Thursday the 30th. They done ordered us to come to work. And look at what we got out here. I almost fell coming out here. It's rough. All right, I want to show you a little more of the scenery because we're not going to see these kids. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know this happen every 10 to 15 years. Jazzy and this snowman, ghetto snowman, peace out. Jazzy Talk Show, this is the last you're going to see of the winter snowland. And I'm raising it up because I'm going to come around in front of here. If you don't see me, I'm not going to even worry about it. But I want to tell you something. I hope you can see me. I want to thank everybody that looked out for other people. But as you can see, I got on so many clothes. They'll take a crane down there to the shipyard to pick me up. This is Thursday, and they say we got to go to work. So, okay. Whether you see me or not, I'm letting you know I got to go up in there. Okay? But somebody got to do it. Jazzy, we love you. I'm going to swing around and show you this look at that. Look at that. Snow. Snow still up on these. Isn't that something? Snow is still here. It's still here. It's still here. And it's ice. It's ice. Just pray everybody be okay and safe. I'm digging down in there with my boats when I go in that shipyard. Jazzy, this is the last little bit of the snow. Peace. It is mesmerizing, but we ready for it to go all the way. We done had fun. That wasn't no snow, that was ice. Finna go in the house and put this camera up. What we gonna do is a fade out on the little snowman. We love you. Peace out.
What about those kids, ladies and gentlemen? You don't do anything else but go to the military. But I'll let her tell you about that. So this is Miss Hadas Hoffman. Come on, please.
Hi everyone. My name is Hadas Hoffman. I'm 22 years old from Israel. The Jewish Federation brought me here this year to represent Israel and to be the face of Israel in front of the community. I'm so proud to be here and talk in front of you because I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran, and last year I finished my army service, and I served for 2 years for the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, and I couldn't be more proud of really being part of the army that protect my country. And when, as Mr. Arabi said before, when we graduated from high school, we have to go to the army. We have to serve our own country. And girls are going for 2 years, and boys have to go for 3 years. And I had the best time, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm proud to be here and to be a veteran. So thank you all.
And my next speaker here is we're going to put on a program next month that we think is going to bring us, as well as the program we put on, a lot of recognition. You know, I just got a book. I'm a bookworm myself, and I got a book from the library. It's nowhere in the system in the South. I had to get this book through the interlibrary loan from Chicago, Illinois, of all places. And it's a book about my own uncle in the 92nd Division. He had told me about a couple of places that they liberated over there, but you know, you never see it in the history books. He was with Vernon Baker in 1997 when he and Vernon Baker went to see the president. President Clinton put the Medal of Honor on Vernon Baker. But these guys has a marvelous record. And there's also the theme that we may have next month, because I'll leave it up to Don when we talk to him. But the book is called Trapped in Tuscany, Liberated by the Buffalo Soldiers. It's about a 6-year-old kid that was in Chicago, went to Italy to see his friends, and lo and behold, the Germans came in, took over the town, and they wanted to start a death camp. But little did they know that the 92nd was right around the bend there, and they kept them in there. They were out of food and ammunition, but before they could get the death camp set up, then the 92nd went in there and liberated the whole town. They never got credit for it, but they liberated 6 villages there. Some of them had already set the death camp up and people were on their way to the gas chamber. But the Buffalo Soldiers liberated. So, but this thing here about what we're going to do next month, we expect to have a worldwide recognition. So Don, you want to come and tell us a little bit about it?
I'm Donald Berry. I'm the director of the Gulf Coast Center for Holocaust and Human Rights Education. And so I'm just here to make a brief announcement about an event that's co-sponsored by the 92nd Infantry Buffalo Soldiers Association and my group, I'll say it again, Gulf Coast Center for Holocaust and Human Rights Education. The date is March the 6th. It'll be easy for you to remember where. It's right here in Bernheim Hall at the same time as tonight's program. It's no surprise to us that African American soldiers were involved in the liberation of France. But did you know that black units also served key roles in the liberation of 2 of the concentration camps that were notorious for their part in the Third Reich's plans to exterminate the Jewish people? The 761st Tank Battalion was among the first fighting groups at Dachau, near Munich, Germany. Members of the 183rd Engineers Combat Battalion were some of the first to approach the concentration camp at Buchenwald, near Weimar, Germany. This is not to mention their involvement in the so-called Red Ball Express, providing essential supplies that made the drive toward Berlin possible. That ended the war, and that ended the Holocaust. We'll offer a Holocaust-related film on that night and recognize some of the people who sacrificed to preserve our freedom and way of life. Honored guests will include Jim Philpott, World War II veteran and liberator of the Dachau concentration camp. Adas Hoffman will be back. As her health allows, Agnes Tenenbaum, Mobile's own Holocaust survivor from Auschwitz, will also be with us. So join us on March the 6th, 5:30 p.m., right here in Bernheim Hall, for a program remembering the liberation of the camps and black soldiers' involvement in these events.
Thanks to Don, but I want one gentleman to come up here because, Mr. Stanley, would you come forward, please? Yeah, when he was talking about, my uncle has gone on, he passed away a couple years, he was in the 92nd. But you're talking about some guys with some tanks that just basically took over Europe. This was the guy in one of those Sherman tanks. And these guys were so bad in those Sherman tanks that when George Patton wanted to go to the Battle of the Bulge and run Hitler out of town, he called these guys up. And when Hitler found out that 761st was on the way, that's when he knew it was all over for him. But this gentleman here has a remarkable story. He just got to change. I mean, every time you see it, about how he got his Purple Heart.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Robert Curtis Stanley. Everybody knows me as Curtis. I was one of Patton's parents. We went to Germany and we killed theater, and we was on our way to Dallas that particular day, but I was wounded. It was November 9th, 1944. On the routes later, about 3 or 4 hours after we went into battle, I was wounded. My tank was hit by a family bazooka, which exploded directly in front of me. I was lying on my face. I was hit by shrapnel on both arms, both legs, and I pulled me out from the tank. After they pulled me out of the tank, it began wound surgery on me. And after they did the wound surgery, they gave me morphine in their French. On my face, that out, protecting me from the enemy and also from the weather. It was cold and rainy. Thank God that about 12 hours later, I was recovered from by the medics and by my chaplain at that time in that surgery. And he told me to take me out and gave me to boot camp hospital. From there, I went to a different treatment. About a year and a half later, I was discharged from the city. Thank you.
And these guys, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote a book about these guys. It's called Brothers in Arms, and it's a book where even he did not know what about these guys until one day about 6 or 7 years ago. My son, who's still in California, where I came from, he was downtown one day. He started talking to the gentleman that was in the 366 artillery. And these guys in the 366 artillery, of which Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's father was in charge of that, had a 98% accuracy rating. I mean, when they pointed those 155 millimeter howitz at you, it was all over because they hit whatever they did. And these were mobile. You know, most howitzers are stationary, but these guys took theirs with them. But it took them 33 seconds to stop, get position, and fire any way they wanted. So they were good. And when he called and told me that you got a man down there that fought with Patton, you need to find him. So we brought him to the program here, and he's been part of the family ever since. And we also had another gentleman up there, the first black tank man. He's passed on too. It's the Washington Academy. But we have a lot of people here, and we've got a poster. I guess we'll show it to you before the end of the program, because we got a poster we want to show you. It's in the back there, but it has Mr. Andre's picture on it. It has my uncle's picture on it from the 92nd. It also has Mr. Henry C. Williams, and if you know Henry C. Williams, he was Mr. Plateau. And, you know, it's sad in this day and age when history means so much to us, especially our young people who have to come and protect us. They need to know what these guys have done.
But in terms of the distance that America has come, there's also a dedicated law enforcement officer by the name of Hugh McCall that was appointed by Governor Robert Bentley to head the Alabama State Troopers. The same Alabama State Troopers that in 1965 beat and bludgeoned civil rights workers on the Evan Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. America has come a long way. Alabama has come a long way. In many ways, with its history of slavery, segregation, and racial injustice, Alabama is a lot like that lily in the swamp. All around it are muck and mire, yet it still springs forth to share its beauty, rising high above its humble circumstances, to share its sweet fragrance and beauty with anybody who happens to pass by. I think many of us know who have experienced that sometimes those fertilizing moments or bitter experiences of yesterday can serve as the springboard for the sweet, flowering circumstances of today. Now, we owe a tremendous debt to those who came before us, both black and white, who determined that equality was more important than their current comfort. People who recognized, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, that peace is not the absence of tension, but rather the presence of justice. Civil rights is not a black and white issue. Civil rights is not a red or blue issue. Civil rights is a deeply rooted American issue, and in many instances, a moral issue. An issue rooted in our Constitution and our nationally shared value of fair play and a desire to do what's right and to do what's just. The question is whether or not all citizens are able to sit down at the table and partake of America's melting pot of opportunities. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight the contributions of a few African Americans that you may or may not know. The first one that I'm going to mention is an unusual character in our American lexicon. Her name is Stagecoach Mary Fields. She was the first African American, male or female, mail carrier in the United States. Mary Fields began her life as a slave in 1832, and Mary's mother was the personal servant of the plantation owner's wife. The plantation owner's wife also had a daughter that was born within a few weeks of marriage. Now, the mother allowed the children to play together. And over the years, they grew close, and they were best friends, actually. And they actually taught Mary how to read and write. And for young people here, at that time, it was against the law to teach a black person how to read and write. It was thought at that time that if you give a black person an education, they would be no longer satisfied being a slave, and that they would become restless and rise up and leave that situation. So just think about that, young people, as you get this free education, and you may or may not like your studies, but remember, one time by law, you could not be educated. Now, over the years, as she grew older, her father was sold away. And since she didn't have a last name, and her father worked in the fields, her mother said, well, you know what, a good name for her to have a last name, because she wanted her to have a last name, would be Fields. And so that's how she got the name Mary Fields. Now, as time went on, her mother passed away as well, and at age 14, she had to keep together the household of her brothers and sisters at age 14. Now, after the Civil War, at the age of 53, Mary moved to rough and tumble frontier Montana. And she went there actually to take care of her friend, Miss Dolly, her childhood friend, who had become gravely ill. Now, Mary was rough and tumble herself. She was no stranger to rolling a cigar, shooting guns, and drinking whiskey. In fact, Mary was once put on trial for shooting and killing somebody. But she was able to defend herself with a self-defense argument and justify the killing. Now, a few years after that incident, Wells Fargo obtained the contract to deliver mail in Montana. And they needed a person who was rough and independent and could handle that rugged territory, a person that could take care of themselves. Mary immediately applied at the ripe age of 60 years old in 1895. It was said in the tryouts for the job that she could hitch a team of horses quicker than men half her age. So she was hired and became the first African-American mail carrier and the second woman mail carrier in United States history. Now, at the end of her postal career, Mary was proud of the fact that her stagecoach had never been held up. Her and her mule Moses never missed a day of work and never missed a delivery. And it was during this time that she was given the nickname Stagecoach Mary Fields for her faithfulness in delivering the mail. Now, interesting facts about Mary: she stood 6 feet tall and weighed a little bit over 200 pounds. She was a local celebrity the rest of her life, and she was known for always carrying her favorite shotgun and wearing a buffalo skin dress that she made herself, as well as a standing bet that she had for years at the local saloon that she could knock out any cowboy with a single punch. 3 people decided to take her up on it. All of them lost the bet, and no one took the bet after that. Now, I want to mention another person in the statesman category, or political figures. Ralph Bunche, many of you may know, but some may not. He was born in 1903. He achieved great things during his lifetime, particularly given the fact that it was a time that was not very racially supported during the 1940s and 50s. He just accomplished tremendous things. Growing up, Bunche was a brilliant student. He was on the debate team. He was valedictorian of his high school class. During World War II, Bunche worked in the Office of Strategic Services, which is the predecessor of our CIA today, as a senior social analyst on colonial affairs. In 1943, he joined the State Department. Near the close of World War II in 1944, Bunche helped to set up the policy and standards and goals of the newly established United Nations. Beginning in 1947, Bunche was involved in trying to resolve the Arab-Israeli conflict as part of his work with the United Nations. In 1949, he was able to actually broker a peace agreement between Israel and those representing Arab interests. For this work, Bunche received the Nobel Prize in 1950. As the civil rights movement heated up, Dr. Bunch became very engaged in the civil rights movement. He passed away in 1971 at the age of 68, but his accomplishments will be remembered always, both for the merit of his accomplishments and the time in which he achieved them. Reginald Lewis was an extremely successful businessman and the richest African American in the 1980s. Born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1942, he grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. He won a football scholarship to Virginia State College, graduating with a degree in economics. He graduated from Harvard Law School in 1968 and was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. In 1992, Forbes magazine listed Lewis among the 400 richest Americans with a net worth of $400 million. He was also the first African-American to build $1 billion company, Beatrice Foods. Now I just want to point out to our young people that you can still have fun, you can still join a fraternity, you can still be an athlete, as long as you keep your focus on studies to be successful later in life. So you can do all that, but you still have to be successful in life. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a local hero, Vernon Crawford was actually born here in Mobile in 1919, graduated from the Allen Institute. During World War II, he served as a merchant seaman, and in 1951 he graduated from Alabama State University with a bachelor's degree in science. Crawford attended Brooklyn Law School, from which he graduated in 1956. Returning to Mobile, he established the city's first African-American law firm, which was located on Davis Avenue, which is now Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. During the earlier part of his career, Mr. Crawford seldom, if ever, was referred to with respect, and none of his colleagues referred to him as Sir or Mr. He never joined the Mobile Bar Association because he was not permitted to due to segregation laws. Some of the important lawsuits that were handled by his firm included the Constitution.
In 1941, with the world at war, a select group of African Americans made their way to Tuskegee, Alabama. They were to be part of an experiment to see if blacks had the intellectual and physical ability to fly an aircraft in combat. They traveled to the deep south, into the heart of segregation, with dreams of becoming their nation's first black fighter pilots. None could have imagined the struggle that lay before them. None could have foreseen the legends they would become. All knew one thing, however. They were determined to become Tuskegee Airmen.
This program is made possible by Alabama Power, a Southern company.
Because they were the Tuskegee Airmen, and because we at Alabama Power believe the story of these American heroes should be told.
I came to Tuskegee as a lad of 14 years of age. The wife is from Alabama, near here, so we say Alabama's home and we say Tuskegee is home. Anytime there's an opportunity to come together with some of the former members of the 99th and 332nd, it's always a pleasure. And when I heard that they would be coming to Tuskegee, I was completely elated of this opportunity to have the chance of spending a few days informally and very relaxed with them, and I just can't wait to see them here and to have this time with them, and I'm sure it will be another memorable occasion.
I haven't been back to Tuskegee in over 50 years. I was here when I was coaching football for a while, and the place has changed so dramatically. Now, it's a combination of feeling in the presence of history and the presence of growth.
I came down here in August of 41, so that's over 60 years ago.
This is my first visit since the Freedom Ride of 1961. I came out of Parkland Penitentiary and came here just to visit. I needed some relaxation. I came in 61. It's a great difference from then.
Well, I get back here at least every other year. This is my home. I'm coming home when I come here. I was born in Tuskegee. I went to school in Tuskegee. I didn't leave until they put me in the army and took me away.
The fellows, they have been coming back to Tuskegee over the years, and most of the times when they come, they go out to Moden Field. They have watched it slowly deteriorate.
This is nice to be here, get out to see the grounds and what it is to be.
I came to Tuskegee, I came from Macon, Georgia, and I came on a train that put me off at Chihon, where I promptly walked to the base because I knew no other way to get there.
I'm sitting here thinking about when we were all young men and cadets and we used to come out and fly in the afternoon.
There was always a question, what could be done to preserve or restore Moden Field? And they were very happy, as I was, when it was announced that it was going to be made a National Historical Site.
Some things look different, some don't change.
Memory is imperfect. Time can reduce the recollections of the events of a week, month, or even year to a single snapshot in the mind. But sometimes a return to a special place can instantly expand even the roughest image into an entirely familiar world in which the past remains alive.
Welcome to the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site. My name is Tyrone, and I'd like to welcome you here on behalf of the National Park Service. We have done some things inside the hangar to show you guys. Where's it?
Welcome to Tuskegee.
So, we're going to take the first ride.
Well, I got the first ride in Texas.
I was flying 86 about a month ago. I was going to take this one.
During World War II, a group of African-American aviators known as the Tuskegee Airmen fought two wars, one against the enemy abroad, the other against racism at home. The pilots were trained as an experiment to see if blacks had what it took to fly in combat. The answer was a resounding yes. 450 black fighter pilots fought gallantly in the aerial war over North Africa, Sicily, and Europe. Men like Charles McGee, who flew more than 400 combat missions in 3 different wars, Percy Sutton, the determined intelligence officer of the 332nd, Charles Dryden, the fighter pilot best known as A-Train, Clarence Jamison, flight leader in the battles over the coast of Anzio, Bill Campbell, who returned from action as Tuskegee's hometown hero, Lee Archer, the top gun of the Tuskegee Airmen with 4.5 kills, Roscoe Brown, first African-American pilot to shoot down the ME-262 jet. Bill Childs, part of the invaluable ground crew that kept the airmen flying. Carol Woods, P-51 pilot who survived as a POW in Italy. And Herb Carter, one of the first Tuskegee Airmen to hit foreign soil more than 60 years ago.
We're here at Moden Field, and Moden Field was the primary training base for the Tuskegee Airmen all of those, practically all of those that entered the program of flight training started here at Moulton Field. Once you got through Moulton Field, you would then transfer to Tuskegee Army Airfield, about 10 miles to the west, for your basic and advanced training. But this historically is the home and the beginning of aviation for the young Negro during World War II.
60 years ago this month, I got word that I would report to Tuskegee, Alabama, and after going through lower pre-flight, I guess my background, I skipped upper pre-flight and got my first flight in that PT-17 sitting out front right here at Moulton Field.
It's sort of deja vu all over again, but it's really exciting to be here and sort of relive those years when you were breaking barriers and learning how to fly, which was one of the things that really attracted us to come to Tuskegee.
The men came to the small town of Tuskegee from places like Queens, New York, Shaker Heights, Ohio, and Montgomery, Alabama. They reported to Moulton Field with college degrees in electrical engineering, English literature, and pre-law. They brought with them not just their own desire to fly, but the hopes and dreams of their families, neighborhoods, and churches.
We were getting a lot of publicity, reports coming back in the black newspapers about the 99th and what they were doing. And there was no chance in my mind that we were going to fail or let these people down.
The general conception in America was that if you were black, you did not have the agility, the dexterity to operate something as complicated as an aircraft. As a matter of fact, there was a study made in 1925 at the Army War College in terms of the utilization of the Negro in case there was another armed conflict. And that study said, based on that performance in World War I, the Negro had demonstrated that he was subservient, he was lackadaisical, he did not have the physiological or psychological ability for leadership. And therefore, if there were another armed conflict, he would be used in non-combatant positions.
The black press was only means by which blacks got to understand what was happening in white America, or in America as a whole, because the white press did not publish anything that was favorable towards blacks then. The black press was a constant in the household, black households in America.
The black press eagerly reported on the world of aviation and its exciting personalities. Loyal readers met charismatic figures such as Lou Julian, the self-proclaimed Black Eagle of Harlem. But the true darling of the press was a reserved female they dubbed Brave Bess. Bessie Coleman, the first black female pilot to hold a license, became a true celebrity whose every move was covered by an adoring press. Even after her tragic death in 1926, Coleman remained the most celebrated of all aviation's black pioneers. In 1932, James Herman Banning and his mechanic Thomas Allen put themselves on the map by flying across it. The duo became the first Americans of their race to cross the country by air, a widely publicized feat.
That was endemic in society also.
Through the press, African Americans read that the door to opportunity in aviation was slowly swinging open. With the war in Europe growing, the United States launched the civilian pilot training program aimed at training thousands of new pilots at the nation's universities. 6 black schools were quietly included. Among them was the prestigious Tuskegee Institute. But African Americans hoping to use their new flying skills in the United States Army Air Corps would be disappointed. The Army was a segregated institution, and there were no black flying units. But in the fall of 1940, the press reported on President Franklin D. Roosevelt's intention to institute a military drive. African American leaders insisted that blacks should not be restricted to service on the ground. After much discussion, it was decided that African Americans would be included in the Army's aviation plans, but only in a segregated environment. Secretary of War Henry L. Stimson expressed the feelings of many of the Army Air Corps when he wrote, "We are preparing to give the Negroes a fair shot in every service, even in aviation, where I doubt very much that they will not produce disaster." The Tuskegee Institute let it be known that they would be a willing host for the new military flight. Home to Booker Washington and George Washington Carver, Tuskegee had long been regarded as one of the nation's premier schools for African American men and women. There were other locations under consideration as well, but on a visit to Tuskegee, Eleanor Roosevelt made a trip to the airfield where Chief Training Pilot Charles Anderson instructed his students.
She said, I've been told that you boys don't have the capability to fly. But I see you folks are taking off and going somewhere and coming back. So you must know what you're doing. So I think I'd like to fly with you.
A determined First Lady of the United States climbed into a Parker Cub with Chief Anderson at the controls.